I never thought I'd be telling this story, but here we are. It's a wild ride about how I designed a multi-billion-dollar refinery, got fired, and then watched the chaos unfold from the sidelines. So grab your popcorn, because this one's a doozy. It all started about 10 years ago. I was a senior process engineer, the lead on a massive project, designing a brand new, state-of-the-art oil refinery. This was my baby. I poured years of my life, my heart, and my soul into this project. Every pipe, every valve, every safety system, I knew it like the back of my hand because, well, I put it there. We had a great team, and we built something truly incredible. It was designed to be not only efficient, but more importantly, exceptionally safe. I made sure of it. The grand opening was a huge deal. Politicians, industry bigwigs, the whole 9 yards. For a while, everything ran perfectly. The refinery was hitting all its production targets, and the safety record was flawless. I was proud, to say the least. I stayed on as a senior consultant, basically the guy they called, when something really tricky came up. Life was good. Then things started to change. A new management team took over, led by a CFO who we'll call Mr. Numbers. This guy didn't know the difference between crude oil and olive oil. All he saw were spreadsheets and bottom lines. His mantra was, cut costs, maximize profit. And his first target? The old guard, the experienced engineers like me who commanded higher salaries. One by one, my old team members were phased out for cheaper, less experienced replacements. They started trimming maintenance budgets, cutting corners on safety protocols I had painstakingly put in place. I voiced my concerns, loudly and frequently. I warned them that they were playing with fire. I wrote emails, I held meetings, I showed them the potential consequences. My reward for this? A termination letter. They said my role was redundant. I was escorted out of the building, the same building I helped bring to life. My access badge deactivated. Just like that, 10 years of dedication erased. I was furious, but I also had a sinking feeling. It wasn't a matter of if something would go wrong, but when. I took some time off, started my own consulting firm, and moved on. Or so I thought. About a year later, my phone rang. It was a frantic-sounding manager from the refinery. He was babbling about alarms going off, weird pressure readings, and a critical unit being forced into an emergency shutdown. The new team of whiz kids was clueless. They couldn't figure it out. He was practically begging me to come in and take a look. Now, here's where it gets interesting. I told him, sure, I can help. My consulting rate is $500 an hour with a 4-hour minimum paid up front. There was a long pause on the other end of the line. He sputtered something about my old salary, and I calmly reminded him that they were the ones who decided my expertise was redundant. He said he'd have to get approval. He called back 20 minutes later. Okay, fine, just get down here. When I arrived, the place was in controlled chaos. Alarms were blaring, and you could feel the tension in the air. The new engineers were huddled around a monitor, looking completely lost. I walked in, and they looked at me like I was a ghost. I got straight to work. Within an hour, I diagnosed the problem. It was a cascade failure, triggered by a series of deferred maintenance tasks. The exact kind of thing I had warned them about. I bypassed the faulty sensor, stabilized the system, and wrote up a detailed report on the immediate fixes and the long-term maintenance they desperately needed to perform. I handed the report to the plant manager, collected my check for $2,000, and left. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. A few weeks later, my phone rang again. This time, it was the plant manager, and he sounded even more panicked than before. They're here, he whispered. OSHA is here. Apparently, someone, an anonymous someone, of course, had sent a copy of my detailed report directly to the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. The report, which meticulously outlined the company's negligence, was a smoking gun. OSHA had launched a full-scale investigation, shutting down large sections of the refinery until the safety issues were addressed. The company was bleeding millions of dollars a day. The stock price was tanking. And who did they call in their moment of desperation? Me, of course. This time, the call was from Mr. Numbers himself, the CFO, the guy who fired me. His tone was completely different now, no arrogance, just pure desperation. He said, We need you to come back and fix this. Name your price. I let him sweat for a moment. Then I said, Okay, I'll come back on two conditions. First, my new consulting rate is $1,000 an hour, non-negotiable. Second, I want a written contract giving me full authority over all maintenance and safety protocols, overriding any and all management decisions. I report to the board, not to you. He didn't even hesitate. Done. Just get here now. So I went back. But this time, I wasn't an employee. I was the one in charge. The very first thing I did was walk into Mr. Number's office with a stack of paperwork. It was the reinstatement and back pay authorizations for every single experienced engineer he had fired. I told him to sign them. He looked like he was going to be sick, but he did it. Over the next few months, we brought the old team back. We worked tirelessly, day and night, to fix the mess. We brought the refinery back into compliance with every single one of my original safety designs. We had to undo a year's worth of neglect and bad decisions. It cost the company a fortune, far more than they ever saved by cutting corners. The best part? My first official act under my new contract was to permanently deactivate Mr. Number's access badge. His role, I explained to the board, had become redundant. The irony was delicious. The refinery is now one of the safest and most efficient in the country, just as it was designed to be. I still consult for them, but now they listen to every word I say. Sometimes doing the right thing doesn't pay off immediately, but in the long run, integrity is a far more valuable asset than a line item on a spreadsheet. So that's the story of how I got fired from the refinery I designed, only to be brought back to save it from the very people who let me go. It just goes to show you, never underestimate the value of experience. Thanks for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button and subscribe for more. See you next time.